Welcome back everyone, Adzi here with another video. Today's video we're going to have a little look at something from LCT. Now as you can tell by the box, it's a bit of a beast. So this is one of their G3 series rifles. So we're going to open this and we're going to have a little look together just to see what it's all about. Now this is something that has come straight to me here in the workshop. And it is going to be having a few amendments to get it battle ready, but we're not looking at that in this video. Today we are looking at what it is like standard as the manufacturer recommended out of the box. So let's get this thing open ready. So here it is, box is open. So here's the G3, you get a magazine with it, which I believe to be one of the 140 round magazines. And of course, as I'm sure you'll agree, that is looking like an absolute beast. This thing is monstrous. And of course, one of the catalogues just to tempt you with everything else that they sell. So here it is, out of the box. Now, the first thing I noticed when picking this thing up is the sheer weight behind it. This thing is absolutely solid. So if you're looking for something that is, not that I've ever held the real thing, so I can't even begin to comment on that, but I suppose if you're wanting something that is going to resemble it as close as possible, that is probably going to be the one. I mean, my arms are starting to ache just holding it up like this for the camera. But what I think we'll do is we're going to do a little comparison whilst I've got this here. So we'll obviously get onto some actual performance of what the BBs are firing at, etc. in a minute, so patience on that. We'll get to that. But just very briefly, we're going to have a very quick comparison against a Tokyo Marui G3 and a Classic Army G3. So yes, I currently have 3 of them here in the workshop with me. So what we'll do is we'll have a little comparison of what they're all like against each other, kind of visually and on the exteriors and that. I can't really do the performances of both of these because that one I know has been tweaked because it's mine, and that one has already been tweaked because it's been in for other works. But we can certainly have a little look at what they're like on the exteriors and kind of the build qualities of them. So let's put them on a surface that we can see them all next to each other. Okay, so we've got all 3 rifles lined up next to each other. So starting at the top, we have the LCT that we've just unboxed. We've got my Classic Army G3 that I've had for a good number of years. And we've got a Tokyo Marui G3 that I've had in for a bit of a service and a clean-up. So looking at all 3 then, the real differences that this is going to show us is basically the materials that these are made out from. Now basically the LCT, we can say we're starting with the heaviest and probably the most solid build because you've got all steel receiver and even the plastic bits are really solid and they fit in with the receiver absolutely perfectly. That said, I would say that the Classic Army, so although you've still got a metal receiver and everything on it, it's nowhere near as heavy, so it's made from a lighter alloy. The plastic bits are still solid and there's still no barrel wobble or anything like that with these, so still a very solid build. It just doesn't have the weight on it, so I think that's probably why I chose that one when I went for one of these. And then of course the Tokyo Marui, as I'm sure we're all expecting, that is going to be plastic throughout, and you can see that these are plastic just from the way you can flex the mag well ever so slightly, whereas you've got no chance of doing that with things like the G3 because they are absolutely solid, the LCT one. So definitely differences in build quality, lighter plastic, solid, medium weight, and then that is just a beast really. So obviously differences in quality in terms of that there, I would say being my favourite of all of them. Now as we come a little bit closer in, just have a look at a little bit more of the detail on here. One thing we can point out that if you're someone who likes a red dot or a scope on there, you have got the mounting points on all of them, which like mine there, mine's got the rail on it. That obviously didn't come as standard. That is something that I've added, but that will work on all 3 of the models to allow you to attach red dots, scopes, whatever you feel you might prefer to play with. Now another thing you might notice is I have got one in the olive green, whereas the other 2 are black grips, and that goes to match with what was on the stocks. I believe all of the manufacturers do various colours. Or certainly for this one you can have it in green and black. That one you can definitely have in green, and the TM I've certainly seen green ones of those as well. So varying colours that you might wish to have. Okay, so for the next bit, we'll have a look at the magazines they come with. So that's the LCT one. That is 140 round mid cap. The one that came with my Classic Army was a high cap, so I think it's about 500 rounds. The TM one, now I must admit I'm not entirely sure. The thing I've got with it here is a high cap, but that doesn't mean to say that's what it came with. These may very well have mid caps with them. I can't really comment because I haven't bought a brand new one of these in a while. This, as I say, is one that I've had in from someone else for service. Okay, so with the LCT on the bench then, we can see that that has a little mini Tamiya battery connector. So if you're looking at doing your batteries, that is what that is going to come with as standard. Now, let's get a battery on here. For the purposes of this, I have got an 11.1 volt LiPo battery for the purpose of testing this at the moment. That's that. And if we have the standard magazine, that's in, and then that is beautiful. So that, as you'd expect, feeds absolutely phenomenally. Now, interestingly, this is the Tokyo Marui magazine. That does fit in. We'll put some BBs in it in just a moment. But just for compatibility, and this is where I think I've experienced incompatibility before, that is the Classic Army one. That does not fit in. I think it's to do with the kind of fixing point that's at the front here. That is obviously different on here because I can't get it to slide up into the little grippy claws that are up in that top bit of the front. So that is where I think I've experienced my incompatibility. Classic Army, however, let's just put some BBs in that, the TM, and see if that feeds. So it clips in nice. Okay, yes, I can confirm that the TM mag feeds, the standard LCT obviously feeds, but the Classic Army does not on this occasion. Another thing just to point out, obviously you saw me put an 11.1 volt battery in that a moment ago. Now, during some of the testing and shooting, I've noticed that the 11.1 as standard is probably a touch too fast. For the pure reason that that is on semi at the minute, look, but listen, it's going to double tap. Single. Okay, so sometimes it's double tapping, and that what that basically is, let's get it to, hang on. It's not going to do it now, but you saw it on that first shot. What that basically is where the gearbox spins too fast and it's kind of overspinning and letting the piston go again. So to counteract that, we're going to take out the 11.1, I'm going to put in a 7.4, and that is going to eliminate the double tapping that we've just experienced on some of the shots, not all of them, some of them. So 7.4 volt battery. So yeah, that is probably what I would recommend if you have one of those and it's out of the box, completely standard. Obviously, we are going to make that battle ready. There will be another video. It's going to have a parent in it. It's going to work. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fine. But you'll have to see the next video for that. Now then, let's just put this through a chrono to see what this is doing out of the box so that we know what we're getting. Okay, so we'll do the chrono test. Now I've got this set with the hop for 0.28 gram BBs. I thought I would test it on that weight because being the size of it, you're probably not going to be using this in a CQB environment. You're probably going to be using it in a woodland environment or somewhere with a bit longer range. Therefore, you're probably going to opt for the slightly heavier BB. So I thought I'd do a little test on that just for comparison's sakes. So let's bring the chrono up on screen and see what it's doing. .256, 253, 255, and 254. So nice and consistent, that's going well. That's reading about 0.84 of a joule. I'm just going to put it on full auto so we can get an idea, a bit of consistency, and the rate of fire using a 7.4 volt battery. So it's looking good, it was nice and consistent, still doing the 0.84 joules, and that was doing about 14 rounds a second. So I would say, as a standard toy, out of the box, That I would say is pretty respectable. Yes, you could put an 11.1. You probably could get the rounds per second getting on closer to the 20. But as I saw through some of the testing, it is going to double tap on occasions on this particular one that I've got in front of me here anyway. And that's not a good thing to be double tapping on semi, especially if you're in a game that is semi only, or if you do end up in a CQB environment where you're not supposed to be full autoing people. So yeah, that's just the overview on that. But power wise, out of the box, I would say very good. So in summary, what do we think of the LCT G3? I think out of the box performance, absolutely fine. It is an absolutely solid build, although it is heavier than the other two. So bear in mind that, especially if you're running around all day with it. Obviously, we're talking mags. I thought that was going to be the fussy one. It turns out the classic army seems to be the fussy one, because that will work in there as well as there. That will work in there as well as there, but this one only works with its classic army mags. So that's an interesting one. Even I'm learning as we're experimenting with all these. I've never had the opportunity to muck around with them to that level. And of course, that one being my one is the only one I've really ever properly played with. But all is good. So yeah, overview, very good. What would I choose out of all three of them? Naturally the classic army, and my reasoning behind that is not only is it a sturdy build, it is a reasonable weight that you can play with, carry around, and it's not too tiring. That is an absolute beast, and that for me is a little bit plasticky. Overall performance obviously of a TM is going to be very, very good, even if you keep them as standard. It perhaps doesn't have quite the oomph that that would have out the box, because that would be doing about 0.8 of a joule using a 0.2 gram BB, but the moment you crank the hop up to lift a 2.8 like I did with that one, then that's going to drop a little bit further. But I do believe that from memory, it was a while ago, but when that came out the box, that was on similar sort of performance to the LCT. So yeah, hopefully that has helped you maybe with your journey for choosing something like this, if that is what you've watched this video for. I hope you might have learned something throughout it, but other than that, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one, where we're going to take that, open it all up, have a look at what the internals are all like, and then we're going to get it battle ready and make it an absolute monster. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a very good day, and I'll speak to you all soon.